excited to have our very next guest with us here at Desk Careers. Today we bring Amy Nightingale, one of the co-founders of Treatscard by Home My Pet, and we're going to be talking about all things pets and how Amy and her co-founder Lee went from aviation to taking their love for pets and making it into a profitable enterprise. Welcome, Amy. Welcome to Desk Careers in the Spotlight series.
Thank you for having me.
What's really interesting is to hear about the journey of what you were doing and how that got you to this e-commerce platform. So let's start right at the beginning. How does an emergency response planner end up a co-founder of a pet membership enterprise?
Well, I've actually been in Dubai for 16 years in aviation, and throughout those 16 years, I have been an avid not only pet lover but pet owner. I've had multiple pets throughout my time here, many rescue pets, rescue cats specifically. At one point, I think I had about 6 cats. And yeah, so that, I guess I have had my professional journey of aviation and my personal journey of avid pet fanatic.
I think that's so interesting. And in my work with the youth, we're always talking about turning an interest into a profitable career. And I know that one of the limiting beliefs that a lot of young people have, and a big fear that parents sometimes have, is that you can't do what you really enjoy doing and make a good profit out of it. We have to go down these traditional careers. Now that you've become a co-founder and you're working with a partner who's also an aviation industry leader, do you agree with that, or do you think, no, I wish I knew that I could do this and make a profit from it?
Absolutely. I really truly believe in following your passions, because you tend to find that what you are passionate about, you tend to be very, very good at and very skilled at. It's, you need to be following something that interests you, that motivates you, and that drives you, because then you'll be so much more inclined to succeed, in my opinion.
Okay, Amy, let's get into the nitty-gritty of what is this Treatscard. What does it entail? How does it work? And how has it become an enterprise?
Okay, so Treatscard is a digital discount card for pet owners. We have found that as pet owners in the UAE, there isn't really any kind of platform that helps or that provides offers or helps alleviate the high cost of pet ownership over here. From an aviation perspective, we're very lucky. There's a lot of platforms for aviation staff that provide discounts on certain things, but there's nothing for pet owners. And I noticed that being a pet owner for many, many years out here. So we saw that gap, and we really wanted, I guess it was a selfish thing. I wanted it for myself, and to help alleviate the high cost from my budget. From my budget of pet ownership was something that I kind of wanted help with. Hence why we decided we identified it and wanted to help sort of close that gap and see if we could make something work.
Amazing. So tell me how a pilot and an emergency response planner have the skills to start a business. What transferable skills did you both have that made you feel confident in taking off with this new project?
Well, I think that goes back to what you were saying about, having a passion. A lot of it came down to having a passion. Obviously, I have the skills in terms of computer literacy and the admin side of things. I have that from my normal day job. But in terms of marketing skills, skills for acquiring vendors, skills for vendor management, skills for marketing, digital marketing in the traditional sense, that was all something we learned on the job. And again, that comes down to that passion and drive to learn and to kind of understand something that is so integral, that is so important. But yeah, we learned a lot of that as we went on.
What would you say would be the key skills that you've gained that you think, you know what, if you're a young person out there watching this right now, these are the skills that you really need to be honing in on for this type of industry?
I would say marketing and promotion. If people don't, you might have an amazing $1 million idea, but if people don't know about it, which they don't in the beginning, it's so hard to have people know what it's about, to even see it, to have visibility on it, and also to trust it. So there's marketing for us. There's so many different elements to marketing, and that's super important. To be honest, that's super important.
How can we find you, Amy?
So we are. You can find us at treatscard.com. From there, if you wanted to buy a membership, we offer monthly memberships and an annual membership. So the monthly membership is a subscription, so it rolls every month. You can find us, as mentioned, on treatscard.com, and then once you click the membership, you'll be sent a link to download the app. And then on the app, once you download it, will be all of our offers. It will be your digital membership card along with all of the offers in all of the different categories.
So fantastic. What kind of job roles exist at Treatscard?
The key roles are vendor acquisition. So making sure that we're continuously onboarding new vendors, because if we're getting new members, we have to keep showing that we're also getting new offers. They have to get value for their money, and so we have to ensure that new vendors are coming on board all of the time. And I would say also vendor or relationship management with the vendors as well is super important, to make sure that those vendors that have been onboarded, that we do partner with, are that we check in with them often. We make sure that everything's good from their side. If there's anything else that we need to do to keep that relationship going, that's also really important. And also marketing, a marketeer.
Fantastic. Amy, I could ask you so many questions. I think the one that's really standing out for me, and I know that we have a business department here at the college. We have media students studying marketing and advertising, and we have students who are content writers, and we have financial analysis, and the list goes on and on. How does one who would start something like this, I mean, how do you as founders actually generate an income for yourself? I know that your clients are getting discounts. How do you guys walk away feeling that this is a profitable enterprise? And I think this is important for anyone watching that is considering going into entrepreneurship, really thinking about, hey, I have this great idea, but it's a great idea, but it needs to be profitable as well. What would you say?
Absolutely. First, for us, we've tried a few things before, and we've learned from those mistakes. You've got to keep your overheads low. Our overheads are extremely low, which is why we can afford to charge a very low monthly fee. Our monthly fee is, it's like 29 dirhams a month, and the member has access to over 100 offers, some of them up to 50% discount on vets, food and supplies, grooming, sitting, daycare, boarding, you name it. We positioned ourselves at a very low monthly fee for the member because our overheads are so low. I think that's something that was quite big for us, because I think if you've got this, if you do have an idea and you want to run with it, you need to make sure that you're positioning yourself at the price correctly. That you're not, for example, if you have physical products, that you test the water first before you bring in all of those products and you have an inventory. You just podcasts, books, Have a look at, you know, there's so much online, there's so much you can research. That's what we did, and understand how, you know, the mistake, because a lot of people have made the mistakes before. You know, we made the mistakes before, we learned from them, and it's also really important that, you know, learning from mistakes is also a super important process to go through in terms of growth when you're a business startup. So yeah, that's what I'd say. There's just research. You know, speak to people, talk to business owners, talk to small business owners and SMEs. Really find out, you know, find out what it is. You know, the hiccups you could have on the way, and how you can mitigate against that.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
And I have to ask you, how has this pandemic enabled the organization, or has it made it more challenging?
Look, you know, we always say, where there is such a, I mean, there's such an economic downturn, obviously, throughout the world, but that also gives rise to huge opportunity. There's been opportunity for us purely because people, you know, people's budgets, you know, people have been made redundant, people are losing their jobs, their budgets are, you know, are half what it was before the pandemic, or what they were before the pandemic. So, you know, we were able to provide such a good, you know, value for money with our membership. You know, a Treatscard member, if they need to, you know, a veterinary visit could cost 1,500 dirhams, and they're getting 35% off just with a cost of 29 dirhams a month. So it really helps alleviate that stress for a lot of the people that are suffering financially here at the moment. So we have found that, yeah, so for the pandemic, it hasn't really affected us. As I said, we feel that it's helped a lot of people more than anything.
So fantastic, really helping the community, definitely. And pets are not cheap. They're really quite an expensive fur baby to have in the family, and most people they tend to have more than one.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. And we also say to any rescuers or fosterers that we give our memberships out for free to any fosterers and rescuers, or anybody that has a very close affiliation with any of the animal welfare groups out here. Because obviously we don't, you know, we wouldn't feel right charging the membership fee to people that are so linked to animal welfare here. But yeah, it really brings the cost of pet care out here is not I wouldn't say it's higher than anywhere else, but in general it's just high. It's just high, and as I mentioned before, especially in the climate that we're living in, it really does help to have some kind of alleviation from that burden.
So fabulous. It's so wonderful, Amy, that both you and your partner took what you love the most, your pets, and found a way to help other people in the community because you found a gap in the market. And that is exactly what entrepreneurs are known for, is looking inward, finding a gap somewhere in what you're looking for, and then seeing if somebody else has that same need or want, and then filling it. So wonderful, wonderful. What would you say are your top 3 tips, just before we say thank you and end our interview? Top 3 tips. Anyone watching this, you know, being an entrepreneur looks amazing. It is, you know, everybody thinks that being an entrepreneur means that you have all this free time to do whatever it is that you want to be doing. But what really are the top 3 tips for anyone thinking about going into a project where they become a founder?
I would say you have to have a passion for what you're doing, for starters. You have to really believe in what you're doing. You know, if you believe and you have a passion, you can make it work. But number 2 would you have to do your research, do your background research. There's so many great podcasts out there. There's so many great inspirational speakers. There's people have made these mistakes before that you may make, and there's so much advice out there that can really help you. That was a big thing for us. Thirdly is time. time is so important. You have to have the time to invest in it. We underestimated how much time would be needed to start off on our own. We made it work, but this is something that we underestimated. So just make sure you have the time. If you have the time to invest, you have passion, and you've done your background research and you've educated yourself, then I think you'll be amazing.
Thank you so much, Amy. Thank you everybody for watching. That was Amy Nightingale, the co-founder of Treatscard by Home My Pet. We were talking about all things e-commerce, how we went from aviation to being the founder of a pet membership. Forthank you so much to everybody for watching. Thank you, Amy, for joining us. And I look forward
Thank you for having me.
at our next spotlight.